listening to Mogul Talk with Marah. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Mogul Talk with Marah, where we dive into the brains and stories of moguls in order to craft our own journey to success. As you can tell by the title, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 things that I learned by being the personal assistant to a multimillionaire. Now, I know immediately some of you guys are thinking like, Samarah, like how did you even land that job? Or what is that job? What is it that you do? So I am currently the personal and marketing assistant for a very, very popular panel style podcast that is currently on tour. This is our second go around on tour, our second year on tour as tonight's conversation. And we're kicking it up. Woo boy. But now something that is really, really amazing is that in addition to being the personal assistant and marketing assistant for, this amazing brand, is I'm now stepping into the role of a tour manager. So as a tour manager, I'm literally overseeing just a whole lot more when it comes to the tour. I'm making sure that all of the logistics are taken care of, that I'm making a list and checking it twice and then triple times and quadruple times so that the cast is good to go, so that the crew is good to go. I've actually been with tonight's conversation with this brand for it's almost a year, like about a year. So to see like the significant growth from like starting as like just a personal assistant, trying to kind of find my way in this space, to elevating to like a tour manager position while still doing the personal assistant things and marketing assistant things. It's been a really great, fulfilling journey. I mean, like, y'all, I've gotten to travel the country. I've gotten to travel outside of the country. I went to Toronto for the first time ever. I went to freaking Canada. I get to step into the realm of, production and media, in producing content, in understanding like what makes a viral moment. And this ain't no little stuff. Like I'm talking 30, 40 city tours, okay? So with that being said, let's get into the 5 things I learned being a personal assistant to a multimillionaire. Number 1, learn to eat crow. Now, when my boss would say this, I would be like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm a vegan. I'm not gonna eat no crow. But really, I had to listen and understand what he was saying, right? So learn to eat crow really comes from like an old English phrase or saying or whatever. And it was basically like learn to accept defeat, learn to, apologize during, maybe some humiliating times or whatever. But the way in which he says it now is more so like, sometimes you gotta take the L, right? Sometimes you gotta lose the battle so that you can win the war. So obviously being in the media and entertainment industry, it's very interesting to say the least. You deal with a lot of different personalities. You deal with a lot of unexpected situations that come up when it comes to, these venues, these hotels, different points of contacts, talent, crew. It's a thing. And so when you're dealing with all of these different personalities, all of these different rules and laws, etc., sometimes you have to learn like, this is not worth losing everything over. So sometimes it is kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let them have it, because at the end of the day, as long as the bottom line is getting fulfilled, like I'm not going to get caught up in the weeds and in the mess of all of the situations that really are not that big. Now, with that, you really have to come from a place of not having a huge ego, especially in the music, entertainment, art industry. We are artists, we are creatives. Like, having that ego, having that pride, that sensitivity about our art, what we do, how we show up, the ego can be kind of big. You know what I'm saying? The ego can be kind of big. So what he's taught me in that space is, understand that your bottom line in your business is going to be so much more important than, being right or proving that you were right, or, and who even has time for that anyway? When it comes to like certain situations, like just be like, okay, bet, cool, you got it, and then move on. The second thing that I've learned is do what you say you are going to do. I have personally learned that almost nothing upsets people with money more than somebody not doing what they said that they were going to do. Because here's the thing. So the person that I work for is very much a self-sufficient, very much a I'm gonna do it myself, very much he is that kind of person, right? So when he's now bringing other people into the fold where he's kind of like, hey, I'm gonna delegate out these tasks and I'm like trusting that they're gonna get done. If you are saying like, I'll do it, I'll take ownership of this task, I'll get it done, right? But you don't get it done, not only are you wasting time, but you are wasting money, and it puts the person that delegated the task to you in a space where they're like, you know what? If I would have just did this myself, I would have been fine. If I would have did this myself, it would have been done already. If I would have did this myself, it would have been done a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So why am I still waiting on you to do it? So one, it makes you look really bad. It makes you look really bad. It makes you look like you're not self-sufficient. And really, it just wastes the time, the resources, the energy, and the money of the company and the person that you're working for. So something that you have to understand, especially when you're entering into like a high stakes arena, just if you say you're going to do something, you need to get it done. If you say that you're going to show up for somebody in a particular way, you need to show up for somebody in that particular way. Will we have slip ups? Yes. Do we do everything 100% like somebody else may want us to do it? No. However, the most important piece of it is showing up, is communicating. Hey, I know I said I would have this, at 5 o'clock, but let me, give me an extra hour and I'll make sure that it's done, right? Like at least communicating on a task. But if somebody has to have the constant conversation with you, like, hey, you're not doing what you said you were going to do, you're not showing up for me in the way that you said that you were going to show up, and it makes you lose credibility and respect, not just in the eyes of somebody else, but in the eyes of yourself too. Like that will affect your self-esteem when you are constantly being told like, hey, you aren't showing up. And when you're constantly making promises that you can't deliver on. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. We got to do better. We got to do better. We got to get that vision together. We got to get that vision of the person who we want to be, so that we can start moving closer and closer towards being that person. The third thing that I learned while working as the personal assistant to a multimillionaire is always be on time. When it comes to people who are serious about their money, those are people that are serious about their time. Because if you are wasting somebody's time, you are literally wasting somebody's money. Imagine it this way. If a millionaire is waiting an extra 30 minutes, hour and a half for you to show up, that could mean they're losing $10,000 an hour or something. I'm literally making up numbers, but you get what I'm saying? Like they're literally losing money. Like this chunk of time is costing them, right? So the least that you can do, especially when they're inviting you into their space, into their world, is to show up on time, show up prepared, and really show up before it's time for you to be there. So sometimes that means that you need to get your ass up earlier. If you know that something is 15 minutes away, right? Maybe you leave 40 minutes before you're supposed to get there, right? It accounts for the 15 minutes. It accounts for, any bumps that may happen in the road, any extra little traffic, parking, getting out of the car, going inside, finding a good table for you guys. Like those things are a process. Like you cannot show up if you have a meeting at 4, you can't show up at 4. Like you need to really get there earlier. But if you are constantly late, and I'm not just talking like in a meeting, but like even late returning assignments, giving feedback on a project that you were supposed to have done 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Once again, you lose credibility. You lose credibility and you're wasting people's time and their money. Now, when I tell you, like, I found like a couple things in common with like some of the millionaires or like high earners that I know, is that they take their time very, very seriously. And here's the thing, you should be taking your time seriously too. If you are constantly late, you're digging into your own time. You're costing your own self money. So yeah, y'all, just always be on time. Really always be early. The fourth thing that I have learned, you are nothing without consistency. When you have a vision, a dream, it is not just imperative, but it is required that you show up for your vision or your dream every single day. If you cannot be consistent with your dream, your vision, your goals, the things that it is that you want in life, if you can't be consistent with it, you need to dig down deep and figure out why. Because honestly, if you want something bad enough, you gonna find a way to do it. Now, do dreams, do visions, do goals take time? Absolutely. But you have to outline the steps. You have to create your vision in a way that also fits your life. I got a child. I got a child. I have to carve out, I didn't even tell y'all what time it is. It is 5 o'clock in the morning right now. It is 5 o'clock in the morning and I am filming. You need to create a structure, carve out time, how it is you're going to fit in working on your vision, your dreams, your goals into your day. Will you be tired sometimes? Absolutely. Will it be hard to stay motivated? Absolutely. That's where relying on your discipline comes in. That's why the consistency is so important. The more consistent that you are is the more that you're building a habit. The stronger those habits get, the harder it is to break away from those habits. Let's say you've been going to the gym for a year straight and one day comes up and you're like, oh man, like I'm not feeling it this morning. If you have been consistent for that year, what you gonna say? Let me get my ass up and go to the gym. But if you are somebody that has been inconsistent, then you're naturally not going to want to show up for yourself in that way. The signals that your brain sends off when you are not consistent with something that you want or that you desire is, hey, this thing really isn't that important to me. This thing really isn't that important to her. This thing really isn't that important to him. You're literally signaling to your brain, to your subconscious mind, that this ain't really what I want. This ain't really what I want for real. In response to that, the world around you will also mirror that reality. I hope y'all are hearing me. I hope y'all are hearing me. Number 5, one that I'm obviously still working on, is get to the point. Get to the point. Get to the point. People do not have time to sit and listen to you grovel and complain and talk about problems. Man, if you don't present some solutions, make a decision and stand on it. Now, if you are asked for further thoughts, if you're like, okay, this is like an actual brainstorming session, then it kind of becomes like open forum. Okay, let's talk about it. Here's my thoughts, right? Even if you are giving your thoughts of like a decision that you're thinking about making, it's bullet A, bullet B, bullet C. On Mondays and Tuesdays, X needs to happen in order for this space to be successful. But getting to the point and practicing getting to the point makes you a lot more direct, helps you save time and energy, and it forces you to be a lot more clear on the decisions that you're making. Not to mention that even practicing decision making is very, very important. Listen, an issue that a lot of people have is that they spend so much time being so cerebral, being up in their head, overthinking, paralysis by analysis, that they are not making decisions, that they're not just saying, you know what, let's just go. We're going to move down path A, and if we move down path A and we realize that we need to pivot to path B, then that's what we need to do. But all this time sitting right here thinking, do I take path A? Do I take path B? Do I take path freaking Z? Bro, all that time spent, you probably could have examined A, B, and Z and learned that C was the answer. You feel me? 5 things that I learned from being the personal assistant to a multimillionaire. 1, learn to eat crow, learn to take the L so that you can win the war. Number 2, do what you're saying that you're going to do. Number 3, always be on time. Number 4, you are nothing without consistency. And number 5, get to the point. Having a vision, having a dream, having goals is so important if you want to live a life that is intentional and you want to live a life that makes you feel full. Now, whatever is at the end of your goals, your visions, your dreams, that is your business. It can be anything that you want it to be. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's stuff. But the steps that you take to reach your goal, the steps that you take to create a vision, to live within your vision, these are all actual building blocks. There is a structure, there are steps. And yes, I'm very much a go with the flow kind of person. I love flowing. I got it tattooed on my neck, okay? But even rivers have destinations. Hopefully this video was helpful for you with learning 5 mindset shifts, these 5 tips that I've picked up along the way, working alongside not just one multimillionaire, but a lot of high earners, a lot of high level entrepreneurs and creatives who are doing this for real. And I'm soaking up the game and I'm giving it to y'all straight like that. So thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of Mogul Talk with Marah, where we dive into the brains and stories of moguls in order to craft our own journey to success. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, join the Media Mogul community, where we are all about the glow up in real time. We're about the process. We're all about, the journey from your beginning to when you blow up and you are a mogul. You are a star, and you are everything that it is that you ever desired to be. We're all about supporting that journey, supporting that process. So, come kick it with your girl. Come kick it with us. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next episode.